So next up, Samba TV are going to show you real-time TV ratings. This is a real treat. Using automatic content recognition, video fingerprinting technology from SmartTVs, and then they're also going to show you how they combine this data with digital data for cross-platform campaign measurement. So let's welcome Ashwin, Navin, CEO, and Ryan King, Research Director.
Thank you very much.
Oh, good. We just got some.
You got some water?
Oh, yeah, water would be great.
Here.
Oops. All right. I can go ahead and start here. Do I have a clicker? Thank you, Jane and CIMM, for having us. I'm Ashwin Navin, co-founder of Samba TV, and I'm going to be presenting some research we've done with Turner. If the stage doesn't fall apart on me here. And I'm with my head of research, Ryan King. A quick note of appreciation to the Turner team for allowing us to present some of the work we've done for a recent event. How many basketball fans do we have in the room? Good number. Pretty exciting tournament we just finished in March. A lot of you followed the March Madness and noted that in the semifinal there was a blowout game, Villanova, Oklahoma, one that I think the Turner team was a little concerned about. Anytime you've got a big blowout score, you wonder what that does for ratings, particularly in the second half of the game. What we're going to show you is going to surprise you. Before we jump into that, though, I wanted to present the company. We're a company that has a true cross-platform panel that we've built out of registering and acknowledging the existence of about 160 million devices that we've registered in our infrastructure and mapped to about 35 million households, out of which about 10 million we get very good data about TV viewership. The combination is something that we're using to make research products as well as targeting products to make media more addressable within those households. When I say we're truly cross-platform, what I mean is that we've, in our own infrastructure, started to measure very large amounts of TV viewership and connected that viewership to behaviors on digital platforms. Since we do that all in our infrastructure, we can do this in real time, which is very unique. And we can do this with high resolution. When we map behaviors from digital to TV or back, we do that perfectly one-to-one. We don't need to go through a third-party matching provider, and we don't need to go through days or weeks of delay to make that match happen. Two very foundational pieces of technology that allow us to do this. One is, as Jane mentioned, is what many in the industry call ACR. We've gone a little bit further than ACR. We call it Content ID. A lot of the things that ACR is able to measure are things that an ACR system has seen before. With our Content ID system, we're going a little bit further. We're recognizing video based on its visual characteristics, similar to the way humans recognize video. And we're also recognizing things that, based on some pattern recognition or some machine learning, basically to figure out things that haven't been ingested into our ACR system. So that's Content ID. It recognizes video, whether it's a TV commercial, a TV show, a movie, video game, or over-the-top content like Netflix, Amazon originals. Anything visual that hits that screen, we're aggressively trying to recognize. The second is a piece of infrastructure which I alluded to earlier, which is the registering of devices that exist within our households. About 160 million devices are registered within the US in our device map. And that allows us at a household level to know more about household composition, as well as to map behaviors on those digital platforms with TV ad exposure. So a really exciting foundation for some of the research products that we have in market. Who'd like to see a demo? Before I do that, I'm going to ask, just if anyone cares to volunteer, what anyone would like to guess is the #1 show in America right now being watched at this moment. Anyone want to take a guess?
Oh, it's up now.
Right this second. Anyone want to take a guess? Can we get the demo going?
It's up.
Oh, okay. Well, that would have been an easy guess. That was a layup. Congratulations, CBS team. Where's the CBS team? The CBS team, Bold and the Beautiful, #1 show. And what you see here is a ranking of the top 10, if we were to scroll down, the top 10 networks in America ranked by GRP. And so here you've got the network, the show, the live GRP for that particular show, and the trend over the last 5 minutes in that GRP. Now, you'll see that some of these shows go from red to blue. And that's because our content ID system has detected that that show has gone into commercial break. And it's not necessarily because CBS or one of the networks told us when it was going into commercial. Our content ID system is actually intelligently detecting that commercial or that ad pod and what's happening inside that ad pod in terms of engagement. Now, that last column is a new form of measurement that we threw into the market. We call it an engagement score. Engagement is looking at the percentage of that show consumed by the average viewer. So you can see not all shows are created equal. There's some shows where the audience is more focused, and some where the audience might be channel hopping or ad skipping, which would reduce the engagement. So just a quick visual on what our data looks like. Again, it is all real time with less than a few seconds of delay. You can go back to the slides. So I'm going to tee up some of the research that we did with the Turner team. Thank you again, Howard, for letting us do this. In the semifinal, we all know there was a blowout score. Second half of the game, typically in these situations, is usually not a great thing from a ratings perspective. And now you've got to figure out as a network what you're going to tell your advertisers who paid for potentially second half engagement and viewership. What we're going to show you is some of the work that we've done with Turner, which allows us to measure the marketing activities which led up to this event. We call this product Verified Tune-In Rate, and I'll let my colleague Ryan tell you a little bit more about that product.
Thank you, Ashwin. So a little bit about this campaign that Turner let us present to you today is this is specifically looking at just the marketing efforts that happened between the Elite Eight and the Final Four event. And we picked this because we wanted to focus on a little bit deeper on what we saw. So right now we're going to review some data on the overall audience who we limited to those people who had already watched at least one game from the 2016 March Madness event. So everybody in here is qualified viewer because they've already watched at least one of these, one of the games. The exposed are actually people who we verified have been exposed to TV promos, and we do that through the ACR technology we have on our linear TVs. And for digital, it's through our device map and using ad tracking pixels. So we're actually able to see when devices in our device map are actually exposed to digital ads once those pixels fire. So we do this to sort of untangle what marketing efforts are put in place to get people in to watch the show. We call this verified tune-in rate. And here's just a quick snapshot. We wanted to show you what the control group had about a 14% VTR that we saw for these people to the Oklahoma-Villanova game. Whereas the TV and online exposed, those people who we know had an exposure to at least one in each channel, they actually had an 81% lift, which was a significant increase over viewership to the control group. Overall, we saw about a 17% tune-in rate. So that tells us that the marketing efforts overall increased the ratings point by 3 to 4 percentage points. And we saw a similar pattern for the UNC-Syracuse game that came on right after, where we now see a 73% audience lift that's also significant. So we are seeing that this marketing campaign that happened between the Elite Eight and Final Four are actually driving people to remind them to come back and view the next round of the event. So that's looking at sort of the holistic cross-platform view, but we also work with our clients to make sure that we are untangling the other areas that they actually market on. So we're able to break down the different channels and how the campaign translated into conversion to viewership. In this case, we're looking at data that we can verify that people exposed on TBS converted at the highest rate to view the Oklahoma-Villanova game. And you can see down the line, these are the 6 networks that Turner used to promote the Final Four. When we do this work, we do it for each event, and so this one was the sort of conversion rates for those people for the Syracuse and UNC game. Now, we go a bit deeper for these. We go a bit deeper. We can actually look at the different on-channel, off-channel paid media for TV. We can also look into programmatic TV buys or local cable buys and untangle those as well to show the efficiency of each one of those platforms individually. And then as for digital, like I said, we use this through our device map and our ad pixels. And this is just a look at anybody exposed on the Turner-owned digital properties and their conversion rate. and the Yahoo targeting, which was pretty much the only real paid media for this event, for this part of the campaign. So when we look at the digital data, not only are we looking at what publishers are converting highest, but we actually look into the publishers to see which tactics or which creative devices or which platforms, if it's a mobile device, a tablet or a desktop, or is it a retargeting effort that is the most efficient on each one of these publishers. So it's also about looking deep into each one of the partners on the plan to see which ones are driving the highest tune-in and most efficient, so our clients can learn and use it for future marketing efforts. And we actually saw that Turner and Yahoo were a little bit more even on their conversion rates here for the UNC Syracuse game. So that's just a little snapshot of what we're able to provide on a campaign exposure basis. We actually wanted to, back to Ashwin's point about worried about drops in ratings due to a blowout score. Well, the average minute ratings that we saw across the game, this is for the Oklahoma-Villanova game, we actually see that it stayed pretty consistent until the very end, but the exposed group, which is the white line, so the unexposed group is the black line at the bottom, that green part is everything that was acquired by this campaign over the course of the game. So we are seeing little dips around halftime and at the end of the game, as the score was, I think, a 40-point blowout. So we did see people start trailing off, but we still see increased engagement for those people after being exposed to marketing efforts. And we saw a similar pattern here for UNC versus Syracuse, where across the course of the game, the exposed group were increasing the actual engagement and the actual time spent watching the program. And so this is a little bit about what we do on a campaign-by-campaign basis. Now, this is a unique event. This is the NCAA tournament. It only happens once a year. We can do those tentpole events like award shows or mini-series. We also do scripted content. We do cable networks, broadcast networks. We have multiple clients that come to us for first-run efforts, retraining seasons. Anything of that nature we can also measure. Thank you.